In this video, we will learn how protein synthesis work and how did we utilize energy to evolve and to grow our body to grow very healthy. So in this video, first of all we are going to learn protein synthesis. Now protein synthesis is the key process for the formation of energy within our body. So the protein synthesis occurs by central dogma. What is central dogma? The synthesis of protein with the help of DNA through RNA. So this is protein synthesis. Now in protein synthesis, whenever we are talking about protein synthesis, there are three steps of protein synthesis: transcription, translation, translocation. These are the three steps of protein synthesis. Now the most complex one are all three of them. There is no category for that. Let's understand them. What is transcription? Transcription is nothing but formation of mRNA as per the sequence of nucleotides of DNA. So it just copies the same pattern of DNA of the RNA. What happens, what I am about to say in this condition is that the sequence of nucleotides of the DNA are copied and they are complementary to the opposite DNA. So they are complementary, but instead of them being thymine, there is uracil because it's RNA which is ribose nucleic acid. So thymine is absent, but at that place it is using uracil and one of its big component, that is one and single stranded, while being complementary to the sequence of nucleotides of the DNA. So what is transcription? Formation of mRNA, formation of RNA with the sequence of nucleotides of the DNA being complementary and helping in the formation of protein synthesis. Perform what is known as translation. As per the name, translation means translating data from one to another. That's translation. Same thing occurs in translation. What happens in translation? The mRNA, which is messenger RNA, brings the codes for amino acid which is nothing more than proteins. The ball of amino acid is protein, right? So amino acid being the macromolecule of protein, they are stored as a message. The synthesis of amino acids message are stored in mRNA. They bring the message to the tRNA, which is transfer RNA. So the message brought by mRNA to the tRNA which is transfer RNA, that process is known as translation. And to do this process, there are special type of anticodon which are complementary to the codon present of mRNA to transfer the data and to transfer the amino acid. Now what happens? Transcription, translation. Now there is translocation. In translocation, whenever protein is formed, it is a group of amino acid. We know that protein are macromolecules of amino acid. It's a group of amino acid, right? So similarly, to form the protein, the amino acid needs to be bonded together, and that process is done by forming peptide bond between those amino acids with the help of what? rRNA, ribosomal RNA. This process takes place in the protein factory where these are bonded together, and while they are bonding, the ribosome keeps on moving at a distance of one triplet codon from one end of the nucleotide to the another end. And this whole thing, these all three complex processes come together and make the formation of protein, which is known as protein synthesis. And with the help of protein synthesis, our body generates energy which is known as ATP. So these complex structures lead to formation of protein in our body, giving us energy. The simple thing to learn here is one of them as well. What is mutation? Is the gradual change or the minor change occurring in the sequence of nucleotides of DNA leading to a singular change which may be fatal or may be very simple, because mutation is of higher level as well as lower level. So in the change of the sequence of nucleotides of DNA, it is nothing more than mutation, and one of the major thing that could occur due to mutation is sickle cell anemia. Now learning this thing, we are going to comply what is carbohydrates, how we gain energy from them, how we make energy from carbohydrates, and proteins and lipids as well. First, whenever we are talking about carbohydrates as well as carbs, carbs are the short form of carbohydrates. Now, whenever we are talking about carbohydrates, each gram of carbohydrate consumed by our body gives us 4k calories, 4 kilocalories to give exact SI unit. So that 4 kilocalories gives us energy. So how that is energy obtained and utilized? It is carbohydrate. So utilization of the food that we consume to form energy is known as respiration. Which type of respiration? It is cellular respiration. So this is what occurs. Now carbohydrate gives us 4 calories. Similarly, our lipids give us 9 calories. On the other hand, proteins gives us only 4 calories. Lipids are nothing but fats. Fatty acid are joined here. The special bond between fatty acid are known as lipids. Whenever the lipids are ingested in our body, they break down into fatty acid. On the other hand, the carbs and protein break down into amino acid. As we know, protein is a group of amino acids, so it's very common. Similarly, carbs also break down in our body to form amino acid. Later, these amino acid and photo and fatty acid are utilized for the production of energy with the help of glycolysis in aerobic and anaerobic condition. But in anaerobic condition, only glycolysis occurs, which gives a low amount of energy, which is ATP. But in cellular respiration, which are using oxygen, in glycolysis no oxygen is required, but in the next two step, which is Krebs cycle and EDC cycle, these both require oxygen. So for this purpose, only aerobic animal can perform this structure. But wherever the glycolysis occurs, ATP is formed. ATP of two molecule of ATP are formed, and acetaldehyde compound are formed after the oxidation of the pyruvic acid, and which tells us that there are 4 ATP which are formed here, and NADH2 as well, and the byproduct of CO2. Now learning all of these things tells us that our body is great and it's making its own energy. I hope you understand this thing and be sure for the next video. Thank you.